The dashcam mounted on Marcus Chen's windshield captured the moment at exactly 11:43 p.m. A young woman in a silver, sequined dress climbed into the back seat of his Honda Accord, her phone illuminating her face as she confirmed the pickup address. The timestamp reads March 16, 2019. The location marker shows Southeast Division Street in Portland, Oregon. Within 90 minutes, 28-year-old Tessa Vaughn would be dead. Tessa worked as a graphic designer at a boutique advertising firm downtown. Her portfolio featured clean, minimalist designs that had won regional awards, including a silver medal at the Pacific Northwest Design Conference the previous fall. She specialized in brand identity work, creating logos and marketing materials for local businesses. Colleagues remembered her as meticulous, someone who refined concepts through dozens of iterations until achieving perfect balance. She lived alone in a renovated loft apartment in the Pearl District, a space she had carefully decorated with vintage furniture from estate sales. Her apartment's location allowed her to walk to work most days. A 15-minute commute she used to listen to true crime podcasts, an irony not lost on investigators later. She maintained a close relationship with her younger sister Emma, who lived across the river in Beaverton. They met for brunch every other Sunday, a tradition that began after their mother passed away from cancer 3 years earlier. Tessa ran half marathons on Sunday mornings, training with a group that met at Waterfront Park. Her personal best time was 1 hour 47 minutes. Her friends described her as cautious, organized, someone who always texted when she arrived home safely. She kept pepper spray on her keychain, shared her live location with Emma during dates with new people, and never accepted drinks she had not watched being prepared. On this particular Saturday night, she had celebrated her best friend Madison's bachelorette party at a karaoke bar on Belmont. The group had sung off-key renditions of 80s classics and consumed several rounds of cocktails. Tessa had been designated as the evening's photographer, her camera roll later revealing images of Madison in a white veil and sash, the bridesmaids toasting with champagne flutes, the group belting out Journey songs with exaggerated enthusiasm. Around 11:30, after ensuring Madison got safely into her fiancé's car, Tessa ordered a rideshare home. The Uber app logged the request at 11:37 p.m. Driver Marcus Chen, a 41-year-old contract worker who had been driving for the platform for 6 months, accepted the ride 4 minutes later. His profile showed a 4.9-star rating and over 300 completed trips. According to the app's tracking data, Chen arrived at the pickup location at 11:41 p.m. The dashcam footage shows Tessa approaching the vehicle, checking the license plate against her phone screen, then opening the rear passenger door. "Going to the Pearl District?" Chen's voice asks on the recording. "Yes, that's right," Tessa responds. Her voice sounds steady, clear. She buckles her seatbelt. The route displayed on Chen's navigation app showed an estimated arrival time of 12:07 a.m. The most direct path took them north on 26th Avenue, then west toward the Willamette River. For the first 12 minutes, the dashcam captures normal driving conditions. Tessa's reflection appears in the rearview mirror as she scrolls through her phone. Chen follows traffic signals, makes appropriate lane changes, maintains a consistent speed. At 11:56 p.m., Chen's vehicle deviates from the recommended route. Instead of continuing north, he turns east onto Burnside Street. The GPS system immediately recalculates, adding 8 minutes to the estimated arrival time. "This seems like the wrong direction," Tessa says. The dashcam microphone picks up the slight tension in her voice. "Construction on the bridge," Chen replies smoothly. "This way's faster." There was no construction that night. Portland Department of Transportation records confirm all bridges remained fully operational. Chen's statement was the first verifiable lie in what would become a meticulous reconstruction of Tessa's final hour. The vehicle continues east, passing through neighborhoods that grow progressively darker, more industrial. At 12:04 a.m., Chen turns onto a gravel access road leading toward Forest Park's eastern boundary. The dashcam captures the change in road surface, the beam of headlights cutting through dense vegetation. Tessa sits forward. "Where are we going? This definitely isn't my neighborhood." "Shortcut," Chen says. His tone remains casual. "Stop the car, I want to get out." The dashcam shows Chen's hands tightening on the steering wheel. The vehicle does not slow down. Instead, it accelerates along the narrow road, gravel crunching beneath the tires. Tessa reaches for the door handle. The child safety locks engage with an audible click. "Let me out." Her voice rises, sharp with fear now. The footage becomes chaotic. Tessa's body lunges forward between the front seats. Chen's right arm swings back, striking her shoulder. The vehicle swerves. For 7 seconds, the dashcam captures only movement and sound, a collision of bodies within the confined space. Then the car pulls to an abrupt stop. The headlights illuminate a clearing surrounded by Douglas firs. The timestamp reads 12:09 a.m. What happens next occurs outside the camera's range. The dashcam faces forward, capturing only the empty forest ahead. The audio continues recording. A car door opens. Footsteps on gravel. Tessa's voice now frantic, pleading. Then silence. At 12:43 a.m., Chen's vehicle appears on a traffic camera traveling south on Interstate 5, alone. The Uber app shows the ride is completed at 12:15 a.m. with a 5-star rating submitted from Tessa's phone. The destination listed matches her Pearl District address, though her phone's actual GPS data tells a different story. Emma Vaughn reported her sister missing at 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Tessa had never sent her usual home safe text. Phone calls went straight to voicemail. Emma drove to Tessa's apartment and found it locked, the bed still made from the previous morning. She contacted Madison and the other women from the Bachelorette party. None had heard from Tessa since she left the bar. Portland Police Bureau received the missing persons report at 10:15 a.m. Detective Sarah Lynn took the case, a 12-year veteran of the Major Crimes Unit with experience in dozens of missing person investigations. She started with the basics: Tessa's phone records, credit card activity, social media. The Uber receipt appeared immediately in Tessa's email. The ride had been completed, paid for, rated. But when Lynn contacted the rideshare company for GPS data, the inconsistencies emerged. The app showed Tessa's phone arriving at her apartment building at 12:15 a.m. The phone's own location services, however, which operated independently of the Uber app, placed the device on an access road near Forest Park at that same timestamp. The discrepancy measured over 4 miles. Either the phone had been transported separately, or someone had submitted false completion data through the Uber app while the phone remained elsewhere. Lynn recognized the significance immediately. She contacted the Uber driver safety team and requested Chen's complete trip history, vehicle information, and background check documentation. The company provided the data within the hour, standard protocol for active missing persons cases. Chen's record showed no previous complaints, no cancellations, no flags in his driving history. On paper, he appeared entirely unremarkable. Lynn obtained Chen's driver information and home address within 3 hours of receiving the case. She coordinated with a patrol unit and a second detective, Mark Reeves, who specialized in digital evidence analysis. The team arrived at Chen's Northeast Portland apartment at 1:45 p.m. Chen answered the door wearing sweatpants and a Portland Trail Blazers t-shirt. He appeared cooperative, calm. He confirmed picking up a female passenger Saturday night, dropping her at the requested address in the Pearl District. Yes, she had given him 5 stars. No, he had not noticed anything unusual about her behavior or demeanor. "Do you have a dash cam in your vehicle?" Lynn asked during the initial interview, which took place in Chen's living room. "Yes, for insurance purposes," Chen replied. "I installed it after a passenger tried to claim I damaged their luggage. We'd like to review the footage from last night's ride." Chen hesitated for exactly 2 seconds. Lynn noted the pause in her case log. "I can get that for you," he said finally. The delay would prove significant. When Chen provided the dashcam memory card later that evening, meeting detectives at a coffee shop on Hawthorne Boulevard, forensic analysis revealed extensive file manipulation. The footage from 11:43 p.m. to 12:50 a.m. had been deleted using recovery prevention software. The deletion occurred at 8:27 a.m. Sunday morning, approximately 7 hours after the ride and hours after Emma reported Tessa missing, but before police contacted Chen. Detective Reeves, who specialized in digital forensics, examined the memory card's metadata. The deletion pattern showed deliberate targeting of specific time segments, while leaving earlier and later footage intact. The software used was a commercial-grade data destruction program, not a simple file deletion. Someone with technical knowledge had attempted to eliminate evidence while maintaining the appearance of normal dashcam operation. The attempted cover-up transformed the investigation. Lynn secured a warrant for Chen's vehicle and apartment based on the GPS discrepancies and deleted dashcam footage. A judge signed the order Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. Crime scene technicians processed the Honda Accord in a secured garage at the Police Bureau's forensic facility. The vehicle examination took 6 hours. Technicians photographed every surface from multiple angles before touching anything. They found trace evidence in the back seat. 3 strands of hair matching Tessa's color and length, transferred to individual evidence bags with detailed chain of custody documentation. The hairs showed root structures intact, indicating they had been pulled rather than shed naturally. Microscopic analysis would later confirm stress fractures consistent with forceful removal. The trunk yielded soil samples inconsistent with urban Portland. The particulate matter contained Douglas fir needles, western red cedar fragments, and mineral compounds found specifically in Forest Park's geological composition. A soil specialist from Portland State University would later testify that the sample's characteristics matched the ravine location with 97% certainty. Interior fabric analysis revealed partial shoe prints on the backseat floor mat. The pattern matched Tessa's silver heels, documented in photographs from the Bachelorette party. The positioning suggested she had kicked or struggled while seated, her feet pressing against the mat with force sufficient to leave impressions. Chen's apartment search proved equally productive. Investigators recovered his personal laptop, a Dell model purchased 18 months earlier, which contained deleted browser history from Saturday night. Forensic recovery, using specialized software, revealed searches performed between 12:53 a.m. and 2:15 a.m. How long for body decomposition? Forest Park remote areas, cell phone GPS tracking, dashcam data recovery software. Each query had been deleted manually, but digital footprints remained in the hard drive's allocation sectors, where deleted files leave residual data. The investigation shifted into high gear. A K-9 unit deployed to Forest Park at dawn Tuesday. The access road Chen's vehicle had traveled stretched for 3 miles into increasingly dense terrain, eventually terminating at a locked ranger station. Search teams divided the area into grid sections, each team consisting of 2 handlers, 2 dogs, and 4 patrol officers. Rain on Monday night had compromised potential surface evidence, softening ground surfaces and washing away any tire tracks. But the cadaver dogs worked scent trails regardless. The search proceeded methodically. Teams moved in parallel lines 50 feet apart, the dogs trained to detect human decomposition in various stages. The terrain proved challenging. Steep slopes covered in undergrowth, fallen logs creating natural barriers. Searchers marked their progress with orange flags, photographing areas of interest for later review. At 2:37 p.m., a German Shepherd named Atlas alerted near a ravine 1.4 miles from the access road entrance. His handler, Officer James Torres, recognized the specific behavior pattern. Ears forward, tail rigid, focused attention on a particular location. The location sat 20 feet below the road level, hidden behind a collapsed fence and thick undergrowth of salal and Oregon grape. Tessa's body lay partially concealed beneath fallen Douglas fir branches. She wore the silver sequin dress from Saturday night, now torn at the shoulder and stained with soil. Her phone rested 6 feet away, the screen shattered into a spiderweb pattern. The positioning suggested it had been thrown or dropped from above rather than placed deliberately. The medical examiner's preliminary assessment identified the cause of death as strangulation. Ligature marks circled her neck, consistent with compression by hands rather than an object. Defensive wounds marked her forearms. Fingernails contained trace evidence later confirmed as skin cells. Time of death estimation placed the event between midnight and 2 a.m. Sunday morning, aligning with the timeline constructed from the dashcam footage. The autopsy, completed Thursday, provided additional details. Tessa had a blood alcohol content of 0.08, just over the legal driving limit but far from incapacitated. Toxicology found no other substances. The pattern of injuries suggested she had fought back, had attempted to defend herself. The final moments had been violent, prolonged. DNA processing took 4 weeks, standard for the State Crime Lab's backlog. The skin cells beneath Tessa's fingernails matched Marcus Chen's genetic profile with a probability of 1 in 2.3 billion. The hair samples from his vehicle matched Tessa's DNA. Soil from his trunk contained the same mineral composition as samples taken from the ravine site. Chen's phone records revealed another crucial detail. At 12:31 a.m., while the dashcam footage showed his car on Interstate 5, his phone pinged a cell tower adjacent to Forest Park. The tower's range covered the ravine location. He had remained at the scene for at least 22 minutes after Tessa's phone went silent. Investigators reconstructed Chen's actions between the assault and his return home. Security footage from a 24-hour gas station on Sandy Boulevard showed his Honda pulling in at 1:58 a.m. He purchased bleach, paper towels, and a large coffee. The clerk remembered him because he paid in cash, avoided eye contact, seemed agitated. The bleach explained the attempted cleanup. Luminol testing in Chen's vehicle revealed trace blood evidence in the back seat area, cleaned but not completely eliminated. The blood type matched Tessa's. DNA confirmation would take another 3 weeks, but investigators already possessed sufficient evidence. Detective Lin executed an arrest warrant on April 23rd, 38 days after Tessa's death. Chen retained a defense attorney, declined all interrogation attempts. The case proceeded to trial in November. The prosecution built their case methodically. Lead prosecutor Jennifer Walsh, a veteran of the District Attorney's Major Crimes Unit, organized the evidence into a clear chronological narrative. The dashcam footage, though incomplete due to deletion, established Chen's deviation from the route and captured Tessa's final moments of freedom. The recovered audio proved particularly damning. Tessa's increasingly desperate requests to exit the vehicle, Chen's calm deflections, the sounds of struggle. Cell tower records contradicted his statement about dropping her safely at home. Expert testimony from a telecommunications specialist explained how phone signals ping towers based on proximity. Chen's phone had connected to 3 different towers during the time period in question. One near the karaoke bar during pickup, one adjacent to Forest Park during the critical window between midnight and 12:45 a.m., and one near his apartment after 2 a.m. The pattern traced his movements precisely, contradicting every element of his initial statement to police. The deleted browser searches demonstrated consciousness of guilt. A computer forensics expert walked the jury through the recovery process, explaining how even deleted data leaves traces on hard drives. The timing proved crucial. Chen began researching body decomposition and remote Forest Park locations within 40 minutes of Tessa's estimated time of death. The searches occurred on his home computer, not his phone, requiring him to return to his apartment specifically to conduct research. Most damning, the DNA evidence physically placed him at the crime scene. The State Crime Lab's senior forensic biologist testified that skin cells beneath Tessa's fingernails matched Chen's genetic profile with a probability of 1 in 2.3 billion. The statistical certainty left no reasonable doubt. The hair samples from his vehicle matched Tessa's DNA with similar probability. Soil from his trunk contained the same mineral composition as samples taken from the ravine site, including specific combinations of iron oxide and clay particles unique to that geological formation. The defense attempted multiple strategies. They challenged the dashcam footage authentication, arguing the deletion could have been accidental or caused by equipment malfunction. The prosecution countered with expert testimony from the dashcam manufacturer, explaining that the specific deletion pattern required deliberate user action and specialized software. Random file corruption would leave different digital signatures. They questioned the DNA lab's chain of custody procedures, suggesting potential contamination during evidence collection or processing. The prosecution responded by calling every person who had handled the evidence, from the crime scene technician who collected the fingernail scrapings to the lab analyst who performed the DNA extraction. Each witness described the sterile protocols, the documentation, the sealed evidence containers with intact tamper-evident seals. They suggested an alternative suspect might have accessed Chen's vehicle, perhaps stealing it briefly to commit the crime. The prosecution demolished this theory with Chen's own phone records showing continuous possession throughout the night. GPS data from the Uber app confirming his phone traveled in the vehicle during the relevant time period, and the absence of any evidence supporting unauthorized vehicle access. The defense called character witnesses who described Chen as quiet, reliable, someone who paid his bills on time and helped elderly neighbors with groceries. The prosecution's rebuttal witness, a forensic psychologist, explained that criminal behavior often exists alongside outwardly normal social functioning. The courtroom personality revealed nothing about private actions. The trial lasted 12 days across 3 weeks. Tessa's family attended every session. Emma sat in the front row, holding the wedding invitation Madison would eventually send without her best friend present. A detail several jurors later mentioned affected them deeply. Madison herself testified about the Bachelorette party, describing how Tessa had been the responsible one, ensuring everyone got home safely. The designated photographer capturing memories. The friend who double-checked that Madison's fiancé had arrived before ordering her own ride. Testimony came from forensic experts, detectives, the medical examiner, the cadaver dog handler, the telecommunications specialist, the soil analyst, the computer forensics examiner. Each built another layer of evidence, another connection in the chain linking Chen to the crime. The dashcam footage played for the jury on a large screen, positioned where all 12 members could view it clearly. The courtroom fell silent during Tessa's final recorded words, "Let me out." The audio quality was sufficient to capture the fear in her voice, the realization of danger. Chen never testified. His attorney advised against it, knowing cross-examination would be devastating. The prosecution's case required no dramatic confession, no emotional breakthrough. The evidence spoke clearly enough. The jury deliberated for 7 hours. They returned a guilty verdict on all counts: murder in the first degree, kidnapping, evidence tampering. The judge scheduled sentencing for January. At the sentencing hearing, Emma addressed the court. She described her sister's careful nature, her habit of sharing location data, her trust in the systems meant to keep passengers safe. She spoke about the empty chair at family dinners, the unfinished design projects on Tessa's computer, the half-marathon registration that would never be used. The judge imposed life imprisonment without possibility of parole. Chen showed no reaction as bailiffs led him from the courtroom. His appellate attorney filed the expected motions, all subsequently denied. The rideshare company settled a wrongful death lawsuit with Tessa's family for an undisclosed sum. They implemented additional safety features, emergency buttons in the app, real-time ride monitoring, enhanced driver background screening. The changes came too late for Tessa Vaughn, but potentially prevented future tragedies. Forest Park installed a memorial bench near the trailhead of the access road. A small plaque reads simply, Tessa Vaughn, 1991 to 2019. Runners pause there on Sunday mornings. Emma visits monthly, maintaining flowers in a weatherproof container. The dashcam that captured Tessa's final moments remained in evidence storage at the Portland Police Bureau. The technology meant to protect rideshare drivers became the key to solving her murder, proving that even deleted digital evidence leaves traces investigators can follow. The case file, now closed, sits among hundreds of others in the Homicide Division's archives, a reminder that safety systems only work when the humans operating them act with integrity.